It's very similar to an option with one major difference. There's something called an EDC, an exchange with a delayed completion. Let me explain what this is. Sometimes sellers won't agree to the option because they're worried that you may not actually buy it in the future. Remember, you've got the right to buy, but not the obligation. So if they're worried about that, they think, well, you know, maybe they're not going to buy it. That might be a good reason why they say, no, I don't want to do it because you could walk away. They might be quite happy for you to look after in the meantime, but ultimately they want to sell this product. They want to get rid of it, so that might be a reason they don't agree to do it. So instead, we can give them certainty. We can use this tool called an EDC, exchange with delayed completion. It's very similar to an option with one major difference. The major difference is this. You are actually exchanging contracts with them. What that means is you're exchanging contracts now and you are agreeing a delay in the completion. Normally when you buy a property, you exchange 1 week, usually on a Friday. The following week on the Friday they complete. The reason is because once you've exchanged, the solicitor calls down the money from your mortgage company, they put that with your deposit, then they buy the property a week later. That's why that normally happens. You can exchange and complete on the same day, as long as you give the solicitor notice to make sure they can draw the funds down from the lender. And you can have a delay. You can exchange and complete in 3 months, 3 years, 5 years if you want, all with agreement with the owner, okay? But the difference is, the significance is, you've exchanged contracts, you are committed to buy that property. With an option, remember, the whole point of an option is you've got the right to buy but not the obligation to. With an option, you can walk away if you want to. When you're exchanging with delayed completion, you are committing to that purchase. You or someone else has to buy. Now, listen carefully. If you don't complete within the agreed time, they can take the property back, they can keep the deposit you've put down, they can sell it on the open market again, and if they sell for less than they were going to get from you, they could come and sue you for the difference. Okay? So please, please, I want to make it very clear, you've got to be careful when you're using exchange with delayed completion. You absolutely have to make sure you or someone else you know can buy that property. If you do an exchange delayed completion, it is what they call a substantiated sale. So what that means is if there's any capital gains tax that the owner has to pay, they would have to pay that at exchange of contracts. And if there's any stamp duty for you to pay on the purchase, you have to pay that at exchange of contracts. Okay? With an option, they don't have to pay the capital gains tax, and you don't have to pay the stamp duty, because remember, it's the right to buy, not the obligation. You're not definitely buying it. Okay? So it's just an extra consideration to think about.